And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You're joined today by your hosts, Sean Gervais from OrbisX, and also we got Marty Hill from Pints and Polishing Podcast, which you should definitely check out as well, and also Hyperclean Products. And Marty, where can they find you aside from Pints and Polishing Podcast?
Hypercleanstore.com, new website, or Hyperclean Store on any of the social.
That's right, yeah. And how's the new website doing, by the way? I know we talked about it a bit last time, but
yeah, we don't have that data for you yet. The app is still controlling the website. We still have
wicked.
The app still is the dominant for us.
Yeah. Well, with that kind of thing, like with products, it just makes sense. Like you have an app. Like I've got most of the stores I shop at. Like right now, we're in the process of building a second house, and so I'm Home Depot. I got the app right there, my wish list, all that stuff. I can share it with my wife back and forth. The app just makes sense. Yeah. Our auto shop, no app.
We're working through kinks. Like Instagram for some reason isn't selling. It's not linked on. I can't tag products, and there's kinks.
Yeah. There always is.
Trying to work out.
Yeah. Usually when everything goes smoothly, it's because something broke and you didn't realize it. You're like, man, that worked perfectly. And you check and all your posts are on mute. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But awesome, man. And how was your weekend?
Oh, weekend. So my daughter came. I've got two daughters that live in California.
Nice.
One of them came back for spring break. And so, we got her on Friday. And
nice.
Man, it's just kids, it's great having your kids.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful feeling. We took
100%.
them. Her daughter moved back to Brazil, but her son is still with us. So the four of us all went camping.
No way.
Yeah, this was like camping, like
okay. Tent and
and no sleep, right? Like
no sleep, yeah. Cooler with food
but it's great, you build a fire, you cook. I love cooking food at campfires. Mine has always been, and I've been a camper. I mean, I grew up, right? My parents owned one of those little campers that they would pool. And we go camping multiple weekends a month, usually in the summer and nice weather. So I've always grown up doing it. I like it. I like being out at the lake. College, I started doing those campfire foil dinners for everybody.
Oh, nice.
College, right? Yeah, everybody's. At least we did. I mean, I went to school in Arkansas, and we had a lake that was 5 minutes away. I mean, this was the foothills of a national forest. I mean, this is gorgeous, right? It's just gorgeous country. And so we were going camp. We would go pretty much almost after every football game too. If we had a home football game, after everybody else was done playing, and I got done getting off the bench. I'd go take a shower. I don't know why, but I'd still take a shower anyway. And and then we'd all go camping. And so I've grown up, man. I've always been a camper. I love being out at the lake. And so made some tinfoil dinners and woke up, made breakfast burritos. But man, that night's sleep is not ever very good. So Sunday was rough, man. Sunday was a rough day for me.
Jeez, yeah. It's funny. Last time I went camping was close to my birthday last year, actually. We had kind of like a little party at our land, and so we had some people come by. One of them was, so what would he be? So it's my wife's cousin's son. I don't know, my nephew-in-law. I don't know, whatever that would be connection-wise. He's now a teenager now. He's like 16, something like that. So he wants to do the teenager thing. I want my own tent this year. Okay, great. But then of course he didn't want to be by any of the adults. He took his tent he was walking so far down our lot. We could barely even see his tent anymore. He went so far back, and I had part of me wanted to tell him, back there, sometimes we get deer and stuff like that to just walk through. And I thought where he put his tent was right in the path of this mother deer that always comes through. She always walks through there. She's eating apples that are in the back of our place. And I thought for sure she's just going to trample on him in the middle of his sleep, But I was like, no, the deer will probably just walk around him. Life is fine. So he sets up back there. Next day we see him and we're like, how was your sleep? It's like, oh, it was good. And he's trying to do the brave face thing, And then we're like, oh, okay. So we were taking his tent down. And then I realized the guy that maintains our property, he cut back there, but there was all these I don't know, weeds or something that was growing in, but it was like bamboo. It was so hard, but he hadn't cut them all the way down. So where this kid slept was basically a bed of nails. And he's like, yeah, it was okay. I was back there by himself. He was just happy for some independence, So we pull his tent off and there's 4 field mice. that just like take off running. So he was sleeping on that plus the mice. And like me, we have a tiny cabin that's there. So like my wife and I with the kids, we were in the tiny cabin for like the first night, and then the next night we were in tents. But the first night, we're there and this happens with this kid. And I'm like, geez, I fell asleep last night watching Netflix. Felt terrible. But anyway, he survived. He had a good time. It was nice.
That's the way my partner, Nick, he's like, wait, you slept on the ground? Like,
like on the ground.
You can get or you can get a cab, or you can like, I know, man, I get it,
But it is nice to, like retouch with nature kind of thing, like there's a
not
park
fun
in
the
Colombia.
day after, though. Let me tell you.
No, definitely not fun the day after. But at least, hey, you got some family time, it's nice. Yeah. Like do some barbecuing or something. And it's good. Yeah. Wait, you have pets though? You have a dog or something, I think?
Oh, yeah, 2. Oh, so that was what's interesting over the weekend too. We had I've got my English bulldog. She'll be 2 this summer. She's a year and a half now. And then, as in the marriage, I also absorbed a something, man. It's a long-haired Chihuahua mixed with something that basically somebody had found, and they gave it to, like, they don't know what it is, right? It's just one of those dogs, but it's about a year old or so. It was something that her daughter and her kids really latched onto. It was right.
And now
you're in a new country, and you get this random dog. Like, it became like it's family.
Part of the family. Yeah.
It's family. Well, the dog, as you can all imagine, small dogs. There's a reason why they say small dogs feel like they're big dogs, right? Like small dogs just have I've never had small dogs. I never have. I always had boxers. Was my dog growing up. Yeah. And then when I became I guess a quote unquote adult or whatever. And it's funny. I mean, when I was a mobile detailer, finally the first little bit of money that I actually started making, you always got to buy something. Yeah. That was for me. I wanted my dog, I was a young kid. It's like, I want a dog, right? Like, so I'd always wanted an English bulldog because we had played with some when I was growing up. One of my friends had a neighbor with 2 bulldogs, and we'd throw the ball over, and the game was to see who could get over there and then jump. You would have to jump on tables, or you'd have to do whatever you could just so you didn't get, because those dogs, the bulldogs they're not slow, but they're not fast, and they're not mean, but they're aggressive, like they're fine. They're fun to play with. And I never got bit, but there was times it was barking, they're guard dogs. It was barking at you. They were slow, fat, and you just throw the ball over the fence and try and see who could go catch the ball before the dogs got them, like, hey, listen, that's growing up in the 80s in the Midwest, Oklahoma, you had to get enjoyment wherever you could find it, right? I mean,
yeah.
So I've always loved bulldogs. So that was the first dog I got as quote unquote an adult, and then I love them. It's my dog of choice. And well, this little Chihuahua thing eventually pissed off my dog enough that we had our first good fight. And
oh man, while camping?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but that was another eventful part of the weekend. But that was part very 2. Eventful.
So wait a minute. Were the dogs home while you guys went camping?
Oh yeah, when we leave or we do anything, I gotta wait for they can get in and out. And
oh, okay. And so did you guys come home to ripped up pillows and stuff from the fight? No? Oh, okay, that's good. No, see, it's me. I don't have any dogs, so I don't know. It
was mostly we think it was mostly a jealousy thing, and the one dog's in heat, which is funny. I can't get this little female Chihuahua. Dude, I'm telling you, dude, it is as horny as can be. And I swear every 2 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating, right? I could have said 30 seconds. I could have said a minute, but I'm not exaggerating. I swear every 2 minutes you look over and it's on the back of my dog going, humping away as fast as it could go. And we're like, Luna, stop. And it looks at us and gets off. And 2 minutes later, it's going, and it's a female. It weighs like a pound going on this, this big, nice, fat bulldog, the bulldog doesn't know what the hell's going on. It has nothing that's getting stuck in, it's 2 females. Like, Luna's now a gay dog. Like, is that our first confirmed gay Chihuahua. I'm not sure. Possibly.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Possibly. But, you know.
It's 2022. I mean,
But apparently something happened and the two dogs got into it, and it was not fun. There was a lot of emotion around that moment.
yeah. Lovers quarrel, you know, it was
A lot of emotion in the house.
geez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so are the dogs sleeping in separate rooms right now, or?
Yeah, and we're keeping them separate and we're doing the best. But I mean, they're fine. I mean, to me, it was all about. I think it was the kids that were there, and they were laying and they were playing like. And remember, I mean, like I said, small dogs have.
They got issues with. Yeah.
Dogs, they think that and eventually they just push the big dog far enough that.
And the big dog shows them why they're the big dog, and
apparently at one time there was a paw pushing the head of the other dog down.
Oh shit!
Like I was like, hell yeah, that's cool. I mean, oh, that's so sad.
Oh, that's so sad. That's terrible. Yeah, that's.
I mean, it was sad. It was a sad moment.
Yeah.
Blood, there were some concerns. So it was.
Jeez. Yeah. See, most I had was fish. I had dogs when I was younger, but like a kid. I mean, you know, like less than 10. But ever since then, it was just fish. They were easier to take care of. They, you know, if one dies, you just go to the store, and 20 minutes later, I'm home with a brand new pet. You know, it was great. Low maintenance. We traveled a lot. That's why, you know, dogs for me, like even now, it's just not feasible. You know, I love dogs. I actually really like dogs, but I just can't without traveling. Like, I mean, we went to Greece and then Mexico and then Cuba. What am I supposed to do with the dogs? You know, I'm not bringing them, that's for sure. But yeah, that's right.
I've always left mine at home. Just raise them to a big potty tank, take care of themselves, have somebody put some food and water in their bowl. And bulldogs are pretty fucking chill, man. They sleep. Yeah. My last bulldog, like before it died, it was, I swear, 20 hours a day.
Holy shit.
I mean, they don't do much, especially as they get older and fatter. I mean, they're great dogs for that.
Sounds like one of my uncles.
On the couch all day.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh man. Wow, that's incredible. All right. So if you know, because my kids, they've been talking lately, like they want a pet or something. Well, my youngest, she wants a horse, but that's just that's not that's a big jump from fish to, you know, that's a huge leap. So
not even a pony. I want a horse.
Yeah, exactly. No. She's just skipped over pony. Yeah, she was no horse.
Not even to the miniature horse. I want a horse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll get her one of those little mechanical ones that the kids can ride. You know.
There you go.
Man, awesome, man. So how about Facebook? You seen any posts recently or anything like that in the groups?
I haven't. What actually has been on my mind lately, I've been listening to an audio book, Marcus Aurelius.
Okay,
meditations. It was his meditations that he would go through and basically writing to himself about things that he was seeing. I find it very fascinating. If anybody that's grown up kind of religious or studied the Bible or whatever, you know, you have meditations in what's called Proverbs, right? It's what people write down. It's Proverbs. There's a couple different books in the Old Testament where people write out stuff like that. And so, you know, Marcus Aurelius, you'll know the name from Gladiator. He was is that the emperor or whatever? What did they have? Not emperors. What do they have in Rome?
Actually, I think emperors. No.
I don't know. Whatever. Somebody will tell us. Somebody will message in and tell us
what
it was. I don't think it was emperor. It was something else, right? Caesars, right? Caesar and then some, right? So anyway, we're butchering this story. It's terrible. Whatever. He was the big dog, you know, back then when the movie what was the movie? Gladiator.
Gladiator.
Gladiator came out, so you can go back and kind of watch. He was a badass. You know, he really did well. I think it led him through that Pax Romeo or whatever. Like he was a pretty studly dude. So I've found that fascinating to hear what he talks about. And it's the fascinating part for me is similar to, I think, in the book of I'll mess that one up too, but it's a talk about they go through the theory of death, right? And it's not so much of what happens in the afterlife, but it's more of a mindset of nobody's gonna remember you.
Okay, legacy type things.
Like same as animals go to the ground, you will go to. We're all part of this system. We're all part of this ecosystem, and I talked about it. One of the meditations I heard about, I talked on our community pub last time. It was about how things change, and
Mhm.
there's always things that have to change in the world. And, there's a lot of analogies the way then we should be changing in business and things like that. But so life is always changing and evolving, as so should we. And we should also understand that death is short coming soon, that the idea of, that we're just a wisp, in
Yeah.
this mainstream of time that goes on eternal in a sense of life as we know it. I don't mean eternal as afterlife. I just mean for what we know as life here on earth, it's going to continue
Yeah.
on for as long as we know. I mean, until somebody comes and takes us to Mars, I don't, life should continue on here on earth, and
100%. Yeah.
no one will ever remember who we are. You look
Yeah.
back over the decades to generations to there's few people that actually get their names passed down through
Yeah. In the
time.
history books and
Yeah.
yeah,
Very
it's
few. So the
true.
majority of us, it's an eye opener to think about, and then it should be awe inspiring. If nobody's
Yeah.
going to remember us, then who the fuck cares what we do? Like, you should go do as much as you possibly can to meet your own, what do you need
Your own.
enjoyment out of your life? What do
Yeah.
you need? And don't stop worrying about what other people think that you should be doing. Do you, because nobody's going to give a fuck about you when you're gone. And half of us, the older we get, our friends kind of
It's
go
true.
away, and few people give us a fuck about us now. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Just go do
Just
life.
do you. And then
Yeah.
100%. And that's where I think for a lot of people, that's something that many of them struggle with for their business. Like their decisions are very much based around what it's going to look like, perception of others or perception down the road or things like that. Like first off, when it comes to even your business, a lot of people, oh, this is my baby, I want to build it up, pass it on to my kids. 9 times out of 10, your kids don't give a shit about your business. They don't want to take it over. If they do and you pass, they usually sell it or it just dissipates into nothingness. The whole idea of legacy stuff doesn't really matter.
And how
And
extremely, I mean, first of all, it's tough to run a business.
yeah,
Imagine running a business for 40, 50. Service-based businesses, you don't really see that very often. A 50-year-old service-based business is
no,
second generation service-based business. That's good for you if you can do it, right? Like,
yeah.
but
The only area I've seen that in really is plumbing for some reason. It's always like, the Brown and Sons, and it's always like, fucking 5 generations of plumbers.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but like everything else
about plumbing that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I don't really see that in. Oh, on the side note, the plumber working on a new house, best tagline ever. He says, "Number 1 in the number 2 business." Fucking awesome. No joke. We hired him based on that slogan. he's absolutely amazing too. But yeah, you don't really see that with like detailing. There's no like, Anderson and Sons. And then it's like, the son took it over for it just doesn't happen. So I mean, that's where even putting your name in the actual business, I always advise people against that.
Yeah.
You have 0 resale value and it's actually a negative. And then actually, you know what? Speaking of posts, there was a post with someone's business name that came up recently. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. I saw it in DFM, and the guy said, looking for help with my Google business listing, my SEO and stuff. And he says, the problem is my business name is the same as Wilson's Auto Detailing because his last name is Wilson. And so it's like Wilson's. And I remember seeing that and I'm like, well, man, this is a quick fix. Just change your business name. Like it's that simple, really, in my opinion. I mean, new businesses launch every day. There's no reason why you need to be tied to that name. Like, is that a household name? Like, I mean, to people, when they think detailing, they're like, oh, geez, I got to call that guy Wilson, it's just not, but yeah. So for me, it was like, just change the name. But yeah, I think that's where one way to avoid that is not choosing your name as a thing. Because then if some other guy launches, his last name's the same, I just don't see the value add. But I think that's where it comes down to that whole legacy thing. Like people want to say it's my business, it's my name that's on the wall. It can still be your business, your reputation and everything, but it can be called something, like Sparkle Clean Detailing or whatever. It can be something else related to what you're doing rather than the name itself, but
I think
yeah, people.
the best names, if you remember, I think were always the funniest. Were like the A plumbers. Then there was A plumbers. Then there were like,
Yeah,
and
and
everybody
most
kept
people
trying to.
now, they don't know why that was done, and it's because the Yellow Pages was alphabetical, right? So it's like if you have like A, you showed up above the guy with two A's, and you show up above the guy with the one A. Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. Yeah, triple A plumbing. Yeah, it's like, what does that even mean? But it's because that's how they sorted things. So now I show up at the top.
Yep.
There will always be a way to scam the system, and get yourself ahead.
The early algorithm hackers.
Yes, exactly.
The analog hackers.
The analog hackers. The Yellow Pages. Jeez, whatever happened to that? But
turned into Yelp.
Yeah, which is still kind of,
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's the same company, isn't it? That's what I always thought.
Yellow I'm not sure if they merged or not, but
YELP, Yellow Pages.
Yeah,
it might be. Thought it was.
Yeah, it might be like a powered by or something. Yeah, but I know, like here, for example, Yellow Pages, they're still trying to do it. They've switched to a pretty much online only model, but it's not really used. It's kind of like the Better Business Bureau, BBB. Like it's nobody cares anymore. It's just pretty much here. I mean, I'm sure it's the same most places, but Google's the dominating force. Like especially for like business listings. That's definitely. If you're not on like Google My Business, I don't know what you're doing. Like, that kind of stuff and reviews and everything. That's pretty much the go-to place. Yelp is kind of big here. We have this one called Reach Local as well. It's similar to, I think it actually might be owned by Yellow Pages also, but
the other reason why I think Yelp was owned by Yellow Pages is because they have the most annoying salespeople, just the way that Yellow Pages had the most annoying salespeople.
Yeah. I know. And they
I talked to you last week. I'm not interested.
Yeah, exactly. And what they're hearing on their end is schedule call for next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. And eventually, right? I mean, this is what we talk about in sales.
Yeah, eventually you'll be like, okay, fuck it. How much is it? Like, just stop calling me. Okay, sign me up, whatever, But that's where
that's one way of selling, right? That's one way.
Just keep swinging. Eventually, you'll hit the pinata.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, I always look at that as opportunities. When someone says not interested, if you truly are selling something that has value, what you should be hearing is, I'm not presenting the value correctly. And then go back to the drawing board, find a way to reposition that value. That's why I'm a big fan of starting all the conversations with, look, this is what it costs. What does that take for that price point? What does it take to make sense for you? And then they'll tell you, they'll be like, well, geez, for that price, I'd have to have a ceramic coating that could be done in, like a couple hours. I can't be without my car. So then you find out, oh, the problem is the guy needs transportation. He needs to be back on the road. So that's where, okay, I tell you what, instead of us doing a 3-year coating, why don't you come in twice a year and we'll do the 1-year coating. We'll just, pop in for an hour. We're good to go. So there's ways that you can kind of combat that or figure out, like, well, what do you have coming up this week? You doing groceries or something? And then try and time it with something like at our shop, there's a grocery store right across the street. So we always tell people in that scenario, like, listen, head across the street, get your groceries done. By the time you're done, give us a shout and your vehicle will likely be ready, And so there's ways of positioning yourself for that kind of stuff. But today, actually, I wanted to talk about discounts. I've been seeing that a lot of posts about discounts on both sides of the spectrum. Some people just asking generic questions. Should I post discounts? Should I do promos? Should I even have this in my business? Other people taking a firm stance. My business is so good that I don't need to offer discounts, or they look down on discounts like they're for, like peasants. And other people are getting into arguments, let's say, with customers, negotiations where the customer says, is there anything better you can do on price? And the conversation seems to be pretty mixed, but also split down the middle, where there's some that are pro discounts and see the value of them. Others that are very anti-discount, and they see it as if you're devaluing the whole industry and, making detailing look like you're just a car wash kind of thing.
What do you think? What's your opinion?
So I think that discounts are great. I think they have to be done appropriately and treated wisely. I think that there's good and bad ways to do discounts. I think that a lot of people misuse discounts and have a bad perception of them. So we always have a promo running at our shop. Always. It's sometimes available to everybody, sometimes available to a select group of people. And we always have kind of like that ace up the sleeve where discounts are there to kind of save the day. So sometimes it can be used to, nudge a lead along where it's, we've tried closing this guy, 10 times over the phone, by email, text message. Sometimes it's that, magic bullet that you can just pull out and it gets the job done. So we use discounts quite heavily.
So how do you weigh in? There's a theory that pushes back against that, of that it devalues your brand.
So yeah, and it can be, and that's where, if it's done incorrectly, I mean, there is no necessarily right or wrong way to do it, but I would say there's ways of doing discounts that can adversely affect your brand and your services. And that's where I think that a lot of people, for example, timing is really important with discounts. A lot of people use it whenever, to boost business, so they get fully booked up heading into their busy season. And I'm like, that is the worst time to offer your discounts. Like, don't discount. It's supply and demand. And so if you're about to be in demand, don't discount the service. So you should be charging more for it, in fact. But we often use discounts to actually close more business. And so we'll discount something knowing that our upsell process is rock solid.
So you don't, well, yeah, that's true too. Most people don't have an upsell part that's rock solid.
Yeah.
Do you find that this is the other theory that I think is interesting, because people asked it, and this is why I say it too, is people asked it to me some early when I used to run a lot of discounts, a lot of
Nice.
specials and things like that.
They're fun.
I think it gets I think it gets your name. I think it gets people to recognize you. Like,
100%.
and there's the theory though that, are those the right people? If those people need a discount, are those the right customers? I'd love to know your thoughts. I mean,
Sure, yeah.
there is a select part of the society as they begin to have a little bit more of a establishment, and whether it's life or business, if this is a detailer selling to a customer, or, whatever, there's, ask somebody many times as they get older or a little bit more financially stable, they don't look or need or want or care about a discount. They just, they want good service. They want good quality. They want it. So if you're attracting people with discounts, then maybe are those not the right customers that you should be attracting? It's a theory. I'd love to know your thoughts.
Sure. Yeah. Great question too. And I would agree with one aspect, which is that low prices usually will attract a lower grade of customer, from my experience. So like at our shop, when we first launched, our prices, like any new business, usually are a little bit lower as we're trying to figure out where the pricing scale is for our business. So we were attracting a different kind of clientele, but we didn't get rid of that clientele. We just started offering them a more streamlined thing and still offered that discount. And we found a place for them within our business, because they still served a place. Like during the winter, when things for a lot of shops slowed down, those people still wanted to come in and get their cars done. Whereas a lot of the higher end people, some of them, like some of our regulars, they were like, yeah, just call me in the spring. I'm actually going to be in Spain for 6 months. I was like, well, fuck. So like that multi-million-dollar customer, like he's a multimillionaire, but he's not even here in the country. So he's not bringing his car in no matter what we do. Right. So there was kind of scales of customers, and that's what we had to figure out. And that's where there's ways of doing the promotion. So there's one way that attracts a certain crowd, and that would be with, the crowd that maybe couldn't afford the service otherwise without the discount. But I do think there's a whole other segment of the population that just wants to feel special. They want to feel like they're exclusive. They're getting something that no one else does. And that's where discounts, there's another way of doing them where it's not a % off or $1 off, but it's with bonuses. And that's actually my more preferred method of discounts, where you're taking something that, let's say it's a customer coming for a detail, but you could throw in maybe like a 1-year ceramic or something for a discounted price if they get the bundle. So they're getting the bundle, but you're throwing in this extra thing that they weren't really asking about. So we'll use that to like nudge people along, because we want to get them familiar with what ceramic coating is. Even if we just have the conversation, a lot of times what we found is that having that package didn't mean that we're booking that package. So we would put something together that would be a conversation starter, but it actually never really got booked as an actual appointment. what would happen is we would throw in something that like, we could even say, oh, we'll throw in, a wax with that. And it just gets the conversation started. Like, listen, I see you called because you saw this promo for this, but we actually have this new technology that's going to be so much better. It's going to offer you more protection. It's going to last longer. We can even do your wheels, your glass, your everything. It starts that conversation, and now they've completely forgotten about that discount package, and you're now talking to them about something else, and you kind of just present the value and sell them on it. So that's the way that we've used discounts. So I don't think that we've really gotten low grade customers as a result of it, unless we did things that were strictly just dollar off, and we were trying to just, okay, this is the price for this detailing promo, let's just pump them out. So like salt, for example, here is a huge deal. So what we would usually do is before the season, we would pump out something to get salt out while winter's still here. And we would say, look, yes, your carpets are going to get salted again, no problem. But listen, just do a quick interior, only focusing on salt. And so we would offer something just for that. They would come in for that, and then we would upsell them on getting the actual full detail. And then guess what? We would see them again in spring, because a month later they have salt again and all kind of stuff. So we were getting kind of lower grade per se jobs at that time, and lower grade customers that, yeah, they were a little more demanding and a bunch of things, but it was kind of our loss leader before our season started, so that we could book them in. The minute they were leaving from that promo, we'd say, listen, spring is right around the corner. Let's book you in for this time, and we would book them in usually at full price. So that lost leader took them into something that was booked in. Next thing you know, our whole spring was booked before we even started. So
All right.
did that kind of answer?
Yeah.
Give my perspective. Cool.
Yeah. Is there still anybody that uses that? As I was hearing you talk, I went, yeah, I remember using punch cards all the time.
Yeah.
Punch cards got to be real popular. Now I get it. Nobody goes around with punch cards anymore, right? Like, I don't see them anywhere. It's all gone digital, and you've got rewards.
We have them built into OrbisX. Exactly.
That's what I was going to say. Is there's got to be something inside of OrbisX that has some type of punch card system that, because if you didn't have to give a discount up front, but you could get somebody into a reward program. I think the way reward programs seem to be pitched lately is just, hey, be a part of our reward program.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what that means. I'm okay, thanks. But if you told me that after 5 purchases of XYZ, I'm going to get this free, right? Then I'm going to go, right? Or, hey, if you buy, these type of packages will get you these extra punches, and this extra punch today is going to put you further to your free, sealant upgrade is what I used to do, right? Like, after 10 washes, you got a free sealant upgrade, right? Like,
beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. It was simple. It was easy for me to do, and those people.
But that's what it needs to be. I'm glad you said that. It needs to be simple for you to do and simple for them to understand. That right there.
What inside of OrbisX has that type of capability that if guys could change, gals, if detailers could change their mindset of when somebody asks for a discount, is there a way that OrbisX could offer them a program that allows this customer to get the discount, but to do it over a period of time and not a one-stop discount? Hey, I gave this guy 20% off and I never saw him again, right?
100%.
Hey, this person 30% off and they came twice. They complained.
Because that's a big fear people have, right? And that's why people complained about Groupon too. Absolutely, because you don't want the one-offs. The whole goal is every customer should become a lifelong customer. They really should, especially with the cost that is associated with bringing in a new customer. So we do that with OrbisX as well. So what we do at our shop is every 7th visit, they get a free exterior wash. And it's not the full package. Like, we don't go in on, we don't take their wheels off and scrub them. No. We have some limitations with it, but basically the 7th one, and it's all automated. Every time
on that 7th one, you could still upsell them to something else, right?
Like, you better believe it, because no one comes in and they want their exterior done and the interior is like, picture perfect. There's always something that can be done. Always. And so that's the whole goal, is just getting them to keep coming back. But on the note too, referrals, we also do something with referrals too. So we can add them as a referral source. And basically anytime that they refer a new customer or something like that, we can add that in. We can check off that it came from them. And then essentially what happens is at our shop, what we do is a free Timmy's card. So like we have Tim Hortons, and so they get $25 as a Tim Hortons card, and they can go buy coffee and stuff like that. And but not just for each referral, it tracks how many referrals. So they have to do 10 referrals, and then every 10 referrals, it basically they get a $25 Timmy's card.
Right.
And that's
So what side of OrbisX has the availability to do this type of program? I mean, walk me through it.
Yeah, sure. So it's all under the marketing tab. So there's a marketing tab where most of the stuff in OrbisX you can do, all your marketing things like contests or coupons, things like that. And within there, that's where you'd set up your upsell automation, but you also have referral sources. So if you click on the referral sources, I'll post a video with this as well. But basically you go into referral sources, and that's where you can add a new one, name, email, phone, and then you can specify the reward. That's the cool part is with OrbisX, you can actually put a specific reward per customer. So if you have a customer that maybe they send you a lot. So we have a hair salon near us. They send us a lot of business because while people are waiting for, they're getting their hair done, we'll go pick up their car. They're right down the street from us, and then we clean the car. They actually get rewards from us as well that they can give to their staff. So they're able to, if they have a staff member that's doing a really good job, they can say, hey, listen, you go to Auto World, you get your car cleaned this weekend, stuff like that. So we can set different rewards for them, and that's under the referral sources. For the loyalty card, that's the punch card. That's basically in the settings. And so under settings, there's a section for loyalty card, and you can specify the number of stamps that you want, as well as the reward, which is cool because some guys have had a lot of success actually with setting it to 3. It seems to be like a really good number for people. So they set it to 3. And essentially what happens is on the 3rd visit, every time you mark a job complete, it automatically stamps the card for you. So you don't have to remember to go punch it for them or whatever. And then on the 3rd visit, it'll automatically send them whatever the prize happens to be, which is pretty cool. So for us, we set it to 7 just because it seemed like it was more familiar with people, 7, stamps, they get a free whatever. But
I remember I think I was 10. Like,
yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, what we worked it out to is we figured that after 7, we'd be able to get them to restart the clock and get them back in. And how we came to 7 was we took a look at how many times we would see a customer throughout the year. And what we were trying to do was double that number. So we figured, okay, let's try we were seeing people on average 3.5 times. So we're like, let's try and get them to 7. That way we can see them 7 times in a year. And try and push that through. Getting them to 10 might have been difficult in a year because that's some, of course, the maintenance customers, sure, yeah, we see them every month. Some of them we see every week, but the maintenance guys also, we do a different program with them because it's not going to count towards their loyalty if they're coming every week, right? So for those guys, we do something different, but we do still offer them a bonus just because they're a maintenance customer. I mean, they are still coming in. And we do upsell them when they come in because that's part of the maintenance. The whole idea is that you're upselling and not just doing the bare minimum for whatever the maintenance package is. You should be upselling.
Do you have stats on how many people use a loyalty program?
At our shop, 67%.
I didn't ask that question right.
You mean in general, like for the
how many detailers use inside of OrbisX the loyalty program?
So 2 answers. 1, not enough because it should be 100%. Okay. It really should. Okay. But it's less than 50%. So we're at about 38% of people that are using it. And the only reason it's about is because I haven't checked this month. But I check these things every month because I reach out to people and I say like, hey, listen, saw you haven't set this up or something. And because there's some people that they just say, oh yeah, we decided we don't want to use that feature. We don't do that kind of stuff. Which is crazy to me. And I tell them, I'm like, you're just throwing away money. Like, why wouldn't you have a loyalty program of some kind? Like, if you just look at the trend, go to any website right now, and you'll usually be greeted with a pop-up. If you go shopping anywhere, like I was at Lowe's the other day, went to their website, even though I've already subscribed and I got a 10% off coupon before, it still popped up. And it's just like, hey, join our loyalty thing. I'm, oh my God, I've already signed up for this, but everyone is pushing and they're trying to give you something in exchange for your contact info. You should be doing the same. Every person that calls, be like, hey, listen, you mind if I grab your email? It'll be great. I'll put it on file. That way we have it, and we'll email you a coupon that you can use on, your next booking, something like that. Now you have their email and they just consented to you reaching out to them. So I think everybody should have a loyalty
probably
program.
Is a better way of using coupons then. something like
Uh,
that to give information instead of just,
yeah,
oh, okay, the guy doesn't want to pay 200, but he wants to pay 150.
100%. I think that everything needs to be a give and take, right? And so I think that if you just give it away, oh, I'll just here, you don't want to pay that, I'll just give you this. Then he's assuming in his head, oh, the value for what you're selling isn't really what you were telling me. It's a lot less because you just gave it to me for nothing. But if it's an exchange, you still preserve the value. So if you're like, listen, I'll give you the discount, but in exchange, I want your email so I can reach out to you by email as well as text. I want to be able to send you stuff, and maybe that I'll send you the right promotion at the right time that'll make sense for you, and you can make a decision. So there's ways of positioning it that way. I would say definitely make it part of an exchange if possible, because they'll appreciate that as well, and you're going to preserve your value, which is the most important thing. Because if you just give it away, in his mind, you've now just told him it's not worth $200. It's now worth 150 because you were just going to give me the discount for free just because I asked for it. So really, you were just trying to overcharge me for something before. It's a completely different dynamic. So I think that definitely an exchange of some kind, and also I think that discounts should be time limited at all times. I think that some people will say like, oh yeah, I could definitely give you 10% off, and they just leave the conversation there. The guy now assumes that it's 10% off forever. So if it's $200 in his mind, it's now worth less. Takes his $20 off because you just said 10% off. But you got to say something like, 10% off if you make a decision by Friday. If it's after Friday, it's back to regular price. There's nothing I can do about that. And I think that that's how people need to start treating their discounts as well. Is always time limited. It needs to have some sort of expiration, whether it's time or it's number of uses. So like we do that with coupons. We say, like this coupon, it's good for, the first 10 people or something like that. And then it's a little more difficult in those aspects to track it. With OrbisX, it's easy because we can just set the limit to 10 people and it'll track it automatically for you. But it does get dicey where if you have guy 11 show up, what do you tell them? You might just be like, just fine, we'll take it. So you definitely have to have a cutoff of some sort, but yeah.
You mentioned it's an exchange, and that's what I think be interesting to play back and forth with, because the scenario that I think was brought up to you, scenario that a lot of us find ourselves in. I don't think somebody would go and want a discount from a $200 detail to 150, right? You're gonna say, thanks, man, have a nice day, but they might want $20 off.
Yeah.
Just because, right? Like just because they think that they can get it. Or
that's true.
Just
they're going to ask, why not? Right.
Yeah. They might be themselves pretty good at pushing to get discounts off of brands, right? Like it's crazy. There's just people that like to get discounts. There are like, not that we don't want to take their money, but maybe they also just asking if they can save some money, right? Like if shit's going on right now that we say, and everybody's starting to really feel the burn, well, there are people that might literally be having to make cutbacks, and that $200 detail, they might only have in their budget $180. Either way, there's got to be an exchange of, as you said, value, but also an exchange just back and forth in the relationship. That's 100%. That's where I like, instead of a detailer giving away a discount, is I like to get into a loyalty program. And if you're inside this maintenance program, yeah, sir, ma'am, your $200 detail actually is only going to be $100, right? I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can work that customer to draw the relationship out instead of a one-time exchange for a reduced rate. Now, here's the flip of the coin, Sean. Like, there's the other side too. Hey, if you're young, you started out, and you got somebody that ain't going to do the deal if you don't drop your price,
then I mean,
you might. I mean, who gives a fuck what anybody else says? Maybe you need to eat. Like
it's true.
There's plenty of times I did that. Like, yeah, no problem. I'll be out there. Like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I hope that most of the listeners aren't in that situation, but if you are, hey, who gives a fuck about the $20? Go make some paper, get what you can. But if you're not in that situation, the best way to handle a discount question, in my opinion, is put them into some type of loyalty program.
100%.
No problem, sir. We got this buy two, get one free. Hey, no problem. I get it. You want to do this? We can do that. It's a part of
Mhm.
this program here that, we'll be back out every 2 weeks and we'll be back out
Exactly.
every month, whatever,
And all we
yeah, we
need is a
do have
card on
that.
file and we charge every month and we just come out. It's all automated for you. Makes your life easy, convenient, and then you're going to save this today.
What do you think holds people back when they get that type of question of, because it is, as we talked about sales before, and having objections, which this is what
Mhm.
it is. Can I get a discount? It's an objection of that they don't want to pay the price that you said. So it's an objection. You got to handle the objection. Why do you think a lot of detailers don't handle objections? Is it because they simply don't know that there's quote unquote what's called an objection and they're part of a
Yeah.
sales like system, and even the customer knows that it's a sales part, and so
Yeah,
he's
like the
playing
customer
his
knows,
game.
but the detailer doesn't.
Customer knows, but the detailer doesn't know, and they just I some of the times I really think that this whole dilemma and this whole discount question thing is it really goes back to they just don't understand that this is an objection and you're in sales and you have to learn how to handle the sales objections. Like,
100%. And I would agree with that 100%. I think that a lot of times they don't understand that they're in a process, that the customer, the minute they ask a question, you've now started a process and it's your sales funnel. As much as the customer's in your funnel, you're also in your funnel too. And the things that you do, the things you say are basically like buttons on a keyboard that make different things happen. And I think that understanding those objections, first off, if you have a significant number of people asking for discounts, raise your prices 20 or 30% and then give that away when you talk to them. That would be number one. And now you're right back to where you want to get paid, if that's one thing. But then you still don't want to just discount your value because it needs to be an exchange of some kind. It has to. It can't just be, oh yeah, no problem, I could do that for you, da da da. It's got to be something, some kind of promise or commitment from the customer in some way, shape, or form, or a reduction in service. It's got to be one of the two. It's either, oh, I could do that, but like da da da, I can do everything you want, but I'm just not gonna, put on the tire shine or something. Like it could be something silly, but I can do that. But I think another key as well is a lot of people want to be the business owner, and that can actually cause a lot of problems like this. So when I started Auto World, my wife and I were working there, and I never presented myself as one of the owners ever. I was always just an employee. And so when someone would ask for something, I would always say, I'll have to check with management and I'll get back to you. And so I would just, go twiddle my thumbs for a few minutes, come back and be like, look, I talked to management and, I'm going to get in some serious trouble if I push any further than this. But I explained your case, I told them like, oh, he's kind of strapped for cash, whatever. And so they want to work with you. And what they were willing to do is, they can throw in this and throw in this. They're only going to be able to take off maybe, like $10 off the purchase price, but we're going to throw in these bonuses for you. So if the guy asked me for $50 off, I'll take off $5 or $10, but then I'll throw in something that costs us $3 or $4. So really we're only losing like, $10 on the deal, but we're getting the guy and he thinks he's actually getting more value than what it was for just a discount. So there's ways of kind of structuring things. And that's where you're gonna have to sit down and look at your individual, packages, your own business, what you can and can't offer, as well as what that customer would be worth. Because if it sounds like the guy's just looking for a detail this one time, never going to see him again, don't go so crazy fighting for their business. But and you can feel them out by asking them, as Marty said, asking them for a commitment towards a loyalty program or a maintenance plan based on their reaction to that. If they're really against it, then obviously that customer is kind of just looking for a one-off, and maybe they should just go to the guy down the road. But I do think that to answer that question, Marty, what the hesitation is or the resistance is for a lot of detailers, I think some of them get defensive around price. Finances are really a tricky subject for a lot of people. I think that some people see it as almost a personal attack against their business. Like it's really someone questioning your worth. And what you need to understand is it has nothing to do with you at all. It doesn't have to do with your abilities, especially if they're a new customer. They have no idea how you perform. You could be the best detailer on the planet. They've never seen your work in action. It's not personal at all. It's just business. They're just asking for a discount. The fact that the customer understands that and you don't is the problem. And so understanding that it's just business, they're asking for a discount. It's okay for you to explain why your costs are what they are, what your price is, and what value you're bringing to the table, because that should have been done before they even asked for a discount. You should have explained to them. They should have looked at the price after you told them all the value that you're going to offer them. And they should have been like, holy fuck, I'm already getting the deal. I can just tell. Like, Marty's giving me so much stuff, but this is the price. I'm not even going to ask for a discount, because the guy might be like, well, actually, listen, like the regular price is this. Or the other option too is just tell them a price and tell them it's a discount. They're like, oh, this is the price I can offer you. I always give my best price up front. So I was able to apply a 15% discount to your thing. They're not going to ask for a further discount on a discount. So that's another way you can tackle that as well. But anyway, just some ideas, some ammunition.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting, and this is multiple manufacturers, like multiple companies that sell products will say the same thing internally, but few will say it out loud to the public, right? Most of the detailers that complain about people asking for discounts will turn around and be in DMs asking for discounts. Like, it's crazy, right? Like, this is not just a hyper-clean thing. You can ask a lot of other people. I'm just, we like to tell things the way it are. I'm okay saying that. It's just funny.
Yeah.
How people want, they'll complain about it, and you'll go on their put it on. They'll put stuff on their own stories. They'll put stuff on Facebook. On Instagram post, right? And then be complaining about stuff, and then
go and do the exact same.
Yeah, they'll be in the DMs asking for a discount, and I go click on their profile, kind of see who they are. I just like to check people out, and it's like, wait a second, what the fuck? Like, strange as can be, man. Strange as can be.
It's true, but it brings it back to that point that part of the problem is in that scenario, they understand that they're part of a business negotiation. When the shoe's on the other foot, they're not understanding that. They're like, oh, I don't understand. I've heard people say things like, would you ask for a discount at Walmart? And you know what? People do, number one, but also I think people would if they didn't feel they were already getting such an incredible value, because everyone knows, like, Walmart touts, like home of the lowest prices, the best value ever, will price match, will beat anything. Like, they've drilled it into your head that they've got the cost down so low. They haven't explained to you that they're buying stuff for pennies on the dollar. They just explained to you that they're giving it to you at the lowest possible cost. You just go in and buy stuff and don't question it, but then when you're calling other places or when customers are calling you, they're going to ask for discounts or assume they can get a discount because you haven't drilled it into their head that they're getting the best possible value for every dollar spent. And that's what I think all your marketing, your branding, your social media posts, all that stuff needs to represent that. It needs to be like, look at all this value we just gave this customer for this incredible deal. You could be next. Give us a call. Send us an email. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it needs to be, is that, like, we are the home of over-delivering value. Not even just delivering, over-delivering. But I do think that I've noticed that too. Same thing. Like, I've seen guys complain about discounts, and then same thing, comes up in the software, and they're like, oh, anything we could do on the monthly plan. I'm like, look, man, you're complaining about discounts. Maybe you need a little bit extra business to be able to pay for things too. So it's okay to give those away too, I think. And as you mentioned, Marty, if it's the difference between not having or having, give the discount away and take the job, man. If you need some grocery money or whatever the case may be, even if you, as Marty said, you want to buy yourself something like a dog, like, go for it. Like, give away a couple discounts if you can make it work, as long as it's profitable for you. And that's where I think you have to figure out what you can give away and what you can't. A lot of people sit there, how should I price my services, how this and that, and they plan for the perfect world, where there's not gonna be any hiccups. No one asks for a discount. People just buy it as is. The taxes don't change. Like, they plan it out for this picture perfect world, knowing that business does change. So you got to factor these other things in as well, I think. And like, we factored in discounts into our pricing 100%. And we always have a promo running. As I mentioned, I think discounts are great, but I do think you have to use them appropriately. Yeah.
Talk, man.
Yeah. Not tools to be messed with. But yeah, this is a great chat though. So I think yeah, anyone listening, definitely. I think Marty. Okay, let's do a quick little thing here for our wrap up. What discounts do you have running right now?
We don't. I mean, that's a journey that I've been on, right? Like,
Beautiful.
yeah, we now run, you know, the actually in 8 days will be one of the only, probably the only brand offering a sale on a certain day in 8 days. What's in 8 days? 420. Right?
Okay.
Big user myself, been a big medical fan, has done amazing for my spinal
Nice.
stenosis. It helps my pain. Like, we're one of the only people that run a sale and a special on 420. So
420.
take advantage. You got you got one shot. You know, we don't do a whole lot of discounts much anymore, or specials or sales or stuff like that. It we provide the value. Our hashtag is
Yeah.
overbuilt. You know, our products are
Beautiful.
overbuilt
Yeah.
compared to others anyway. So we don't.
Although I
don't-
would say though, if someone was looking to be a distributor, they do receive a
Okay.
discount of sorts as
Okay.
part of,
Okay.
yeah.
That is
So,
true. That is true. We do
yeah.
have a distributor program that people can get
Yeah.
percentages of. We don't call them discounts. We call it more. You know, you got margins because you're going to
Beautiful.
sell it, right? You know, but you could, you know, you could still use it inside your own shop, your own store, and then I guess it is, in a sense, you're getting a discount. But
Yeah,
the program
absolutely.
is ultimately designed for people to resell, and they got margins.
Yeah,
But you could
absolutely.
look at it as a discount. You could.
Yeah, providing the same or more exceptional value for a little bit less. That's so absolutely. And so I get it, because it's the same thing. Like that's what I do, for example, with OrbisX, like the 12 months free, for example. That's a form of a discount in a way. You know, people don't have to start paying right away. It gives them time to transition from some of the other softwares that are out there. But you know, it's things like that. I think that every business needs an edge, I guess, is what I'm trying to get to. And I think that discounts, the word discount is kind of it's a mala palabra. It's a bad word. You know, it's something people don't like to talk about. They don't like to use because it sounds like you're discounting your work and your value. And so I think promotions might be a better one, but basically promotions, sales, specials, any kind of thing you can think of that will help for your business. Like, yeah, maybe stay away from discount. But I agree. Promotions and sales will be key. And I think that with your site, for example, with your app, you have a mailing list as well. Like people, when they can sign up and join and get offers and stuff, right? So
Yeah, I mean, but we don't send offers, really. We don't. Only except around a couple holidays, you know, the big sale days, and then
okay, yeah,
and then 420. We're about the only company. I'm telling you,
that's a big one. I do remember. I saw last year. Yeah.
It's
I saw
a
you guys
big
pushing
day,
that.
man. About 3
Yeah.
or 4 years ago, when I first started, you know, because I didn't smoke until really recently. I mean, I wasn't a smoker before. It was
Jeez,
literally been all medical, and I started looking around, and I went, this is a day that nobody celebrates, but fucking 70%
But
to
it's a
80% of all
huge.
detailers consume. I mean, they might not all want to talk about it, but the majority of detailers do consume.
Most of them on the job.
Maybe even on the job. You're right. And so I ran that first sale, and I went, oh my. And I think this will be our fourth. Pretty sure this will be our fourth 420
Right
sale.
on.
And man, each year it just gets more and more, like, people love it. You know, it's hilarious.
Right on.
One
It's
year
something
we did
unique.
it with a big smoke machine, and we had this, you know, we got in the smoke machine, and we were all sitting there like, you know, come sell,
That's wicked.
take a discount, you know, like.
Yeah. But that's awesome. That's something people can look forward to, something that's unique, helps you stand out from the crowd. And yeah. See, I like that. See, that's how I look at discounts, is I look at it as use them the right way so you stand out. Loyalty programs, things like that, what you're doing on 420, all those kinds of things. They're ways for you to have that competitive edge, and treating it like every DM that comes to you or every private message for your business where someone just asks for a discount. That's not the way to deal with discounts, in my opinion. That's a negotiation over price, and that's where you have to figure out the person's true objections to the value that you're presenting or how you're presenting the value, you know, all those things. Because I think that promotions and discounts, you know, ugly word, but discounts, can be great for your business if used the right way. So I like the way that you're using them, for example, at HyperClean, where it's they're part of overall promotions and kind of your company culture. You're preserving the value, but still offering people something to look forward to, something to make them feel special and exclusive, and so on and so forth, and definitely time limited as well. So I think that was one thing I was trying to drive home earlier. So that's fantastic. Awesome, man. So I'm looking forward to that in 8 days. All right.
8 days, man.
That is wicked. So, all right, Marty. Well, listen, thanks for your time today. Once again, great chat. I'll post this up shortly there. This will be followed up also with an ebook that I started today. Just a quick little one that's going to kind of summarize things that we went over today, as well as something that I call the printer method, which is what we do at AutoWorld for our discounts. To go over that quickly. So the printer method is because you're printing money from discounts instead of having money be taken away from you. So it's basically promote a custom offer, which is your P, reward loyal customers. We talked on that with the loyalty program. The I is for increasing the ticket price. So using discounts as a way to push your ticket price higher. Then we have the N, which is for nudging your leads or customers along. Sometimes a discount or promotion can be just what's needed to kind of get them over that hump. Then you have the total order value, which is the T. So if someone's ordering a lot more of something, offering them a discount, is a way to kind of thank them for that order, make them feel special and get them to pull the trigger. The E is for expediting a purchase. So speeding up someone, making a decision. That's where discounts can sometimes help. You can say, listen, like if you can make this decision, make this deal happen by Friday, I can get you 10% off. After that, deals off the table. And then the last way is for R, which is referring customers. You can reward them as well. So basically you can reward people that send you business with discounts on future things as a way of saying thank you for their referrals. So anyway, that'll be covered in the ebook. I know it was a lot I just went over real quick, but it'll be in the ebook that accompanies this. And there may or may not be a special in there as well for HyperClean. So we shall see. Ooh, who knows? All right, Marty, listen, thanks once again. I will see you next Tuesday. We'll have some new topics for everybody. And until then, mahalo.
Have a great week.
Take it easy, man.